Over the last 24 hours, we watched as the entire crypto market woke up in a big way. XRP made its name known by initially running all the way to $2, like 63. It did flip Tether for a bit of time there right now. We know that XRP is actually slightly under Tether just by, roughly $2 billion or so. But, this is still a very, very big sign of what's to come later this year, which is the fact that this market is going to continue going up. We might have slight, road bumps in the road, where we have a nice little correction or sell-off. But we are going to go much higher from this point on, in my opinion, because of the overall outlook in terms of, the tariff discussions and the trade war, because we know that Trump basically confirmed that the bull run is going to continue, which I did outline in a video earlier today, where I was talking about the China-US deal. Now, outside of that, we do have a lot more to really kind of look forward to going forward. But let's actually look at XRP, because XRP right now is sitting at about roughly $247. Again, it did have a nice little sell-off already from the 2063 level. If we actually look at the candle itself, it was about, it was right around the high going back to December 1st. Like, this is where the candles actually closed at. We were right around that level. So you can see that we hit major resistance. But the overall trading volume was up over 189% today. Roughly almost 11 billion in trading volume, which was pretty crazy to see. But the entire market woke up in a big way, which, we love to see that. But outside of, just looking at CoinMarketCap, when we look at the chart, I do have two potential scenarios here. Number one is we sell back off into the demand zone and create a higher low. And we're going off of these lows that we have so far on this chart. We have the low down here from April. And then we also have the higher low from roughly the beginning of May. And then, where could our higher low be here? Well, it would be roughly around like $222 or so. Now, do we have to do this? No, absolutely not. In fact, we could just repeat the same pattern that we're, looking at back here from like the 10th and the 11th, and we could see the same sort of pattern potentially forming here, where we do have the next big push, have that nice daily close above $2, like 55, which is the levels from the end of March. So I'm watching this closely to see which scenario we get. If we repeat this pattern, or if we get that nice little sell-off into the higher low structure, and then we continue from that point on. Either way, I'm fine with either scenario, because guess what? The outcome actually is XRP trading significantly higher. So I still think that XRP is primed for a much larger move here. We just kind of have to wait for the structure to form, and for the next big move to actually break over this March resistance level and get that nice close above it. But outside of that, let's actually look into a few things happening around XRP, because, it was a pretty substantial move. In like the last month, we're up about like 14.15% in the last 7 days. We're up 16 and 11%. And then also on the daily, we were up about we were up way more than almost 5%. But we're about like 4.3%. But XRP had a very strong move. And it actually kind of outperformed most of the top 100. And the reason for that is because of all the announcements happening around XRP recently. Number one, the Florida pharma firm Logistics was a big one, because it did confirm XRP use for real-time payments and $50 million financing deal. This was definitely a big one. And it really kind of confirmed just how bullish XRP's utility actually is. Outside of that, we also got a pretty big update. First state to potentially remove capital gains tax on Bitcoin and XRP, as well as stocks. We have here that Missouri could soon become the first U.S. state to eliminate capital gains tax entirely. a move that would have profound implications for crypto holders, stock investors, and real estate stakeholders alike. Missouri House Bill 594, which passed a final vote in the state legislature, now awaits Governor Mike Keough's signature. If signed, it would enact a 100% income tax deduction on all capital gains, including profits from digital assets like Bitcoin and even XRP. Now, at the time that they did write this, Bitcoin was trading above 104,000. XRP was holding at $2.38. So over the last couple days, we got this update from, the Florida pharma firm on top of the potential elimination of capital gains tax on XRP, Bitcoin, and other, things like stocks, for an example. And we also got a few additional updates around, traded XRP pump substantially. But what's crazy about this, tax bill, because if we get this passed fully, if this becomes a big thing, I do think that we're going to see additional states line up for this. And I also think we might actually just get this across the board in the US. We know that, Trump has been talking about it, floating the idea around. Could definitely be very bullish, by the way, for crypto and for stocks. It would send them much higher. But also, it reminds me back to the beginning of December, when we heard from Eric Trump actually confirming that Trump has pledged to make crypto tax-free in the US. In America, they've waged war against cryptocurrency. They've sued everybody. They've gone after them using the SEC. Eric continued by explaining that Donald Trump's vision for how America can become a crypto capital of the world under his leadership. A person who pledged to add crypto to the United States Treasury. A person who pledged to make crypto tax-free. The Ripple team and XRP community understands this better than most. The active war on crypto is over in the US. And this was back in the beginning of December. Check it out. Those institutions who have waged war on cryptocurrency. Guys, in America, they've waged war against cryptocurrency. Make no mistake about it. They've sued everybody. They've gone after them using the SEC. They've waged war. They've tried to tax them. A person who pledged to add crypto to the United States Treasury. A person who pledged to make crypto tax-free. I mean, think about all these incredible things. So, obviously, is there some sales tactics behind this? Sure, there could be. But at the end of the day, I still believe that tax-free around crypto will become a reality, just simply because of the tech race that's ongoing. And if that becomes, something that is real around XRP, for an example, it would send XRP much, much higher, including, of course, Bitcoin, because I'm sure that Bitcoin would be included in that. But outside of that, sentiment did highlight this. We have XRP just surpassed Tether for the number 3 spot among all cryptocurrencies. The asset's market value is now back above $2.61 for the first time since March 6th. There are a few attributable reasons that the popular old coin has enjoyed a mild decoupling from the pack. House Bill 594, which would make Missouri the first U.S. state to offer a full income tax deduction on all capital gains, including Bitcoin and XRP profits. XRP's amount of holders has grown over 11% thus far in 2025 alone, and XRP is also now accepted as a payment method on Travala.com. But yeah, we are nearing 6.5 million total holders for the first time in the network's 12-plus year history. We also saw over 638,000 net increase in non-MPT XRP wallets since the start of 2025 as well. So, you could see that there's a big accumulation wave happening around XRP, number 1. Also, number 2, the environment around XRP. Let's just be real here. It's extremely bullish, but the environment around crypto overall is also very bullish. And I've highlighted this many times over, especially with the China deal. I think that that's probably one of the biggest ones to really kind of look into. Now also, what about BlackRock CK? Well, BlackRock had crypto talks with the SEC earlier today, and this has sparked a little bit of a debate on if we are about to see XRP ETFs, because they were talking about tokenization. They were talking about specific things around ETFs as well. So everyone is looking at, are we going to get an XRP ETF from BlackRock CK? Well, listen, we don't know what's going to happen here, but one thing that I've made very clear is the second that BlackRock K files for an XRP ETF, we're going to see the ETFs around XRP greenlit in a very fast manner. We saw it happen with Bitcoin. We saw it happen with Ethereum. XRP is no different here. But also, what have I mentioned many times over in the past? It makes a lot of sense for XRP to have an ETF. It also makes a lot of sense for BlackRock CK and all of these big financial giants to want an XRP ETF. Why? Well, because of how strong XRP has been already this year, on top of the fact that we continue to see big updates happening around XRP, it's included in all of the heavy discussions. XRP continues to make headlines. It continues to make a lot of noise. So if I was a name like BlackRock, I would be like, well, what's another way to make a ton of money from crypto? We already have the Bitcoin ETF. We already have the Ethereum ETF. What's the third largest crypto? Oh, it's XRP. So it's a no-brainer move. Let's just be honest here. So the second that BlackRock CK does file for an XRP ETF, expect all the others to fall in line in terms of getting the green light. And we already know that Brad Garland, Gauss has stated that he's expecting an XRP ETF launch in the second half of 2025. And I don't think that I need to tell you guys that. We're closing in on that. But also there's over 18 ETF filings for XRP. We know that is the case, and if they all get passed at the same exact time, expect some fireworks. But also we know over here that XRP institutional investors is what really matters. Just wait until all the XRP ETFs start kicking in, because we have down here from Smoke Dog, yes, institutional investors actively hold XRP and intend to increase exposure to when XRP ETFs are available for trading. So 73% of surveyed investors hold cryptocurrencies beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum, but most hold only 1 to 2 others, including XRP and Solana. And we can actually see that XRP makes up about 34% of that. And investors prefer exposure to crypto through registered vehicles, like for example, ETPs or ETFs. So love to see it. Just shows us that we will see a big flood into XRP the second that we get those ETFs approved, which is something that I've highlighted many times over on this channel. XRP it's in a very unique position here because number one, we went through the 4-year plus lawsuit, right? And we won. We won. We have regulatory clarity essentially for XRP at this point. We're just waiting for, the announcement from the SEC that puts XRP way ahead of most of the old coin market. But also, right, XRP already has the most amount of ETF filings, and so far it's been front-running the entire old coin market this season. So XRP is in such a strong and unique position that I really do think that XRP is going to be one of, if not the biggest mover in the top 100 going forward. And I think that it's going to continue to shine. This is why I think everyone should be paying attention to what's happening around XRP. And if you're not, I think that you're missing a big target in this space. And of course, last but not least, I do have to mention Senator Hard's prediction as well, because they did predict back in the beginning of April that XRP could surge over 500% to $12.50 by 2028. But they also expect an XRP spot ETF approval in Q3 of this year. So again, second half of, 2025, just like Brad Garlinghouse is saying, could definitely be a reality. Now they're talking about that 500% surge. I actually think that we could hit $12.50 this year if we get the ETF filings fully approved, and also if we start to see, the market really wake up in a big way. But overall right now, you know, I'm definitely watching the chart to see, you know, a strong reaction here. We have yet to see that big impulse move down or anything. I know that a lot of people have been talking about how XRP is selling off today, but when we really look at this and zoom out, I mean, this is just lower time frame trading technically. The overall structure on XRP is extremely bullish, and on this recent move, we really did create a higher high going off of the March, you know, high. Even though we didn't close above it, we still had the wick above it, which is very good to see. So XRP's overall structure here from a TA side is actually very bullish. It's in a very bullish lower time frame, but also even higher time frame structure. So love to see that. Very good to see. And I definitely look forward to seeing what happens next, because I do think that this market's about to wake up in a huge way. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't see anything other than us, you know, we might have a nice little chop, you know, sell off correction until like the end of the month. But outside of that, I expect fireworks going into June with the Fed decision. But also I do think that by the end of June, we see Bitcoin dominant sell off completely, ushering us into alt season of 2025, where all of these altcoins, including XRP, just go absolutely parabolic. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys, definitely leave a like, subscribe, notifications on, because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.